In breaking news, Donald Trump has delivered one of his most bizarre threats yet, this time against Canada, and he sounded like he took a puck to the head with a bonkers hockey reference. I have that and the epic Canadian retort that includes the word insane and some laughter in Trump's face coming up next. I'm Dan, and thank you for watching Occupy Democrats. To get all of our reports covering every blunder and bombastic threat that comes from Trump's lips and his White House, please hit that subscribe button. Let's begin with context from Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and then I'll share the Canadian leaders checking Trump into the boards.
U.S. President Donald Trump is making a new threat against Canada tonight, taking aim at a new border crossing. The Gordie Howe Bridge will connect Windsor, Ontario and Detroit, and it's set to open this year. But Trump is threatening to block it, claiming the bridge was built with no American materials. The bridge was fully funded by Canada's federal government, but now Trump is demanding the U.S. be, quote, fully compensated. Katie Nicholson has been following all of this as it develops from Washington. Katie?
Yeah, it's not clear what in particular prompted this post tonight, but here's the key part that caught an awful lot of people in Windsor and Detroit off guard. Trump writing, "I will not allow this bridge to open until the United States is fully compensated for everything we have given them. And also importantly, Canada treats the United States with the fairness and respect that we deserve. We will start negotiations immediately with all that we have given them. We should own perhaps at least one half of this asset." Now, the $6.4 billion price tag on the Gordie Howe Bridge was fully funded by the Canadian government, but it is under the joint ownership, kind of a structure between Canada and Michigan. It was built because of the need for more cross-border traffic options beyond the Ambassador Bridge. And Adrian, it's important to remember here, this is not a law, this is not an executive order, this is a post on social media, at least in this moment in time. And it's also important to keep in mind that this is happening as Canada and the U.S. are rocketing toward those summer deadlines on CUSMA renegotiations. So there could be some positioning here.
And the Truth Social post also included this bizarre claim about hockey that shows Trump has been playing without his helmet again. He said, "The first thing China will do is terminate all ice hockey being played in Canada and permanently eliminate the Stanley Cup." And now for the responses from two Canadian leaders. First up is Prime Minister Mark Carney. He has to personally deal with Trump, so his reply is mostly diplomatic. But do stick around, because on the other side is another leader who is unfiltered, and he skates in on the Donald with elbows high.
We discussed the bridge. I explained that Canada, of course, paid for the construction of the bridge, over $4 billion, that the ownership is shared between the state of Michigan and the government of Canada, and that in the construction of the bridge, obviously there's Canadian steel, Canadian workers, but also U.S. steel, U.S. workers that are involved. This is a great example of cooperation between our countries. Look forward to it opening. And what is particularly important, of course, is the commerce and the tourism and the voyages of Canadians and Americans that will go across that bridge. So the conversation turned to a series of issues that we will raise and we're going to follow up on.
And here's the other less restrained leader that I promised. Watch as the mayor of Windsor torches Trump and openly laughs at the absurdity.
In the last hour, Trump took to social media, taking issue with the Gordie Howe International Bridge. We've reached out to Drew Dilkens, the mayor of Windsor, which is the site of that bridge, and the mayor joins us now. Mayor Dilkens, good to see you again, sir. I wish it was under less chaotic circumstances, but thanks for taking our call. Well, what do you make of this latest from the U.S.?
It's just insane. When I read that post, David, I really can't believe what I'm reading, but it's par for the course. And let's go back. The Gordie Howe Bridge, this has been a bridge and a conversation that really, it goes back 25 years. There have been successive U.S. presidents. There have been successive prime ministers that have been involved in the negotiations to get this bridge constructed. There have been presidential permits issued. And let's not forget, Canada paid for the construction of the bridge. The U.S. didn't want to pay. Canada said, we think it's important. We're going to pay for it. We're going to fund it to help facilitate international trade. And so the president, on one hand, is criticizing a decision made by the government of Ontario to remove U.S. alcohol off the shelves. But at the same hand, on the other hand, he's saying, I don't want to open a facility that's actually going to facilitate more trade between the two nations. And then to layer on some conversation, I think the Post talked about China taking over hockey and banning hockey and stealing the Stanley Cup or something like that. Like it's just insane. And so we know Donald Trump is volatile. We know he's created an environment of uncertainty. I'm sure we'll get over the speed hump here on this issue as well. It's one of the frustrations we have to deal with. And, the faster we can get to the midterms and hopefully see a change, the better for all of us.
This is the world we live in. Foreign leaders are laughing at our president. Trump calls it the art of the deal when he asks for something outrageous and then settles somewhere in the middle and claims victory. And maybe it was effective at one time, but now it's just a cartoonish version that reveals his mind is on thin ice.